in case you have somehow missed it, I started my own park in Planet Coaster. And in the first episode, we started working on the entrance. And the whole area around it is basically now finished. So what that means for this episode is that we will be starting with the inside of the park. We're going to be making some very nice nature in here and place our first rides. And at the end of the episode, we will start working on the first area. So make sure to keep watching until the very end. Let's get straight into this. Okay, so here we are, and well, we have, a lot of room to work with, and I am, if I'm honest, not entirely sure what I want to do here, but I do have an idea for a flat ride. Now, I don't want this entire park to be extremely flat. It's not based in the Netherlands, so we are going to use some of the terrain tools. So first of all, I think I want to go down, actually. I'm not really sure how much down, but I want to create some water features, and this will mainly be inspired by Epic Universe. It has somewhat similar thing, but I will try my best and of course make it my own. So I have just created this. It will probably change. Let's actually first work out some of the paths, and I'm going to use my beloved stamp tool again, since I just feel like that works the best. And I do actually want to create some sort of like overlook here. So I think if we actually do that actually looks really good. Just need to paint it the correct color. Only to realize this is not exactly in the middle. And let's work out quickly some of the paths. It's not going to be the most crazy thing ever. I'm just going to make sure there's enough room, since there are going to be like some walkways going down into this area where we are going to be placing the first flat ride. But first we actually need some paths and somewhat of a layout. So the main water feature will probably like come from under the path, so I kind of have to keep that in mind. But I do actually want to create a staircase going down here, and I guess for throughput this probably has to be quite a big staircase actually. Now how the rest of the park is going to look exactly here, I'm not really sure. But yeah, I'm not planning to make this a lake, or at least not yet. Now of course a staircase is not accessible for, well, basically everyone. So let's also make some winding paths that will go like slowly down towards the same point. And for this we actually got a new conforming terrain tool option, which as you can see it like sort of like goes with the terrain, which is a lot nicer. Now it won't work here, as you can see. Let's see if it now lets me places this path, and by the looks of things that's pretty nice. And now it's not too steep anywhere for you to like, well, die. And now that we have this on one side, which actually looks pretty nice, we also need this of course on the other side. I'm actually going to lower this a little bit more. You will see why in a little bit. And I'm going to place a big circle here. I need to make sure this is somewhat in the middle, and this actually won't be used for people to walk on. Okay, here we go. Now we have somewhat of the paths. You might ask them, why are some of the paths flying? Well, the water will actually go underneath here towards the ride that will be here in the middle. And I think I've let you guys wait long enough. Let's just place this right. I just need to find where it is. I think it's this one, the chair plane. Now the only thing I need to make sure that this is exactly in the middle, which is easier said than done. I think this is pretty good. I can actually delete this and see if the circle is, it's a little bit too much on the right. Okay, that looks actually pretty good. I just want to test this and see how it looks from here basically. That actually looks very small now that I look at it, but I think this will actually look very, very nice once we actually have some water features going down from beneath here. It's quite a big area, but just keep in mind there will be like entrances into all the areas around here. I don't know if you guys hear that, but I'm hearing the ice cream truck outside. What the heck? Okay, now the only hard part from this is that I need to create somehow a round path around this. I guess that works almost. It doesn't have to be exactly round, since of course the queue and stuff has to also fit in here. And if this is going to work, I'm not exactly sure, but this is the sort of idea I had. At least I can still move this a little bit over, so it's actually in the middle of this area. I like that. Alright, well now that we have a lot of paths, let's actually see if my idea is going to work. So first of all, I actually need to remove all of the sort of like curbs around this. And for now, we'll just make this a blue color to kind of show what will be water. Now, what I don't think is going to work is if I add actual water in here. Technically it works, it's just that this doesn't really work, although it does look very cool. I can always try and lift this up, intersecting with terrain. What do you mean intersecting with terrain? Oh, it's putting everything on. Oh. Okay, I might just have to ditch the actual water and then just use the pieces for the water. Since if I'm correct, we also have water pieces themselves, which I can place like this. Now, I know there's like a weird edge here right now, but if I am going to steal over what I basically did here, here we go. I don't know if I can make these even bigger. No. Okay, well, that's going to be a lot of primitives. If I place this just above the path, since the path is just there for it to be there. It's an amazing sentence. And if we then just start to fill that up, we should actually get some nice looking water. Before I actually forget it, I should probably place an entrance and exit. So let's just place the entrance all the way on the right, and that's the stupid fence back again, and this on the left. Now the big question is, do I want to have the water below this rock part, or do I want the water to be just above it, so you have the water all the way until there and we can sort of remove this edge? I'm not entirely sure, since I think what people are going to do is walk across here and then into the seat. So they might otherwise walk through the water. So I might just get forced to use it here. So let's first fill the entire floor with these blocks. So we have at least like a base for the water here. Luckily, I can just copy and paste this over the entire floor pretty quickly. I just need to fill in some of these gaps. And then we get this water block in here. Okay, now we have a very simple base. I think this looks fine. And I hope I can also just copy and paste this over. Now, why does that not snap perfectly? And these water pieces are actually going to go all the way across, even on the other side of the path here. And well, the water will basically end up here from up here. Is that even a correct sentence? Okay, now we got some nice water, at least in here. The edge and everything definitely has to look a lot better. Okay, so now that I actually have the layout of all the paths, and I know it might look like a lot of spaghetti, which it kinda is, to be fair. It's time to actually sort of plan out where all the water will be. As you can see, I've added a lot of these like sort of bridges where the water will go under. So let's just plan out some of these sort of rivers or wherever they're going to go. And I'm just going to do it with the help of these balls. There we go. Now we have, I think, yeah, 4 points where the water comes from. I might add more in the future, but basically all the water goes to this big central area where we're definitely going to have more decoration in. So yeah, what is the plan now? That's a very good question. I think what I'm just going to do is go into a time lapse where I'm just going to work out the rock work, the waterfalls, and where they're going to go. After that, we're going to add the final detail to this area. All right, let's go to the time lapse. And it's time to place a lot of rocks in this time lapse. So if you like rocks, this is the perfect time lapse for you, since oh my god, I spent hours and hours placing rocks. Well, we'll place more than just rocks in this time lapse, so don't worry, but there will be a lot of rocks. So yeah, as we saw a little bit earlier, the blue balls we see will be the river itself where I'm making it. So what I'm doing right now is trying to place the rocks around that. And in a little bit, we'll actually add the water in, and then you can hopefully see it a little bit better. But at the start, it was just a lot of rocks. And later in this, yeah, you can actually see me already place actually the water. I thought it was later, but it's already here. We have these water pieces, and this is an amazing method Teggy3D has come up with, and it's just amazing. I saw his video a few weeks ago, link is in the description by the way, of these sort of like rotating water pieces on the rotating like piece, and it just looks amazing. I do have to say, it took me quite a lot of time of getting it right. So you can already see me at the start that it looks a little bit strange. Later on, I will get better at placing them. So I'm not removing this one, but later on in the time lapse, they hopefully are a little bit better looking, a little bit more realistic. I was really like figuring out like what worked, what doesn't work, and in the end, I think they actually turned out really amazing. And yeah, let's actually have a look at what all water pieces we have, since I'm gonna be honest, I didn't really know what I could use for all of this. Yeah, there was like rapid foam, waterfalls, splashes, jets. There was a lot of options, and well, you can already see me actually place a few of the water effects, or actually trying to do some. Later on, I'm actually removing all of these, since I noticed I placed way too much. There was basically water effects every single piece, which in the end didn't look the best. So I was like, okay, you know what? I'm just first going to place all the water. And then I'm just going to see, okay, where does the water fit? And later on, I actually do some more research of like, okay, where should actually the water be instead of just spamming it everywhere. But yeah, as said, this will not only just be rocks. There will actually be very nice and lush greenery and also some trees later on. And I have to say, the trees and everything, they really change it. Since I was kind of scared making this, I have to say, like, I wasn't really sure how this was turning out, since one of the big things that I was noticing when building this is that these rocks are a little bit different in like tone of what the entrance is. And it's not ideal. Later on, I mix also in some other rocks to sort of mix it up. But I've just now said to myself, this is my dream world. I am just going to pick whatever I think looks good at that moment. I'm not going to care about everything mixing and matching perfectly in the center area. That's not really the point of this park. I'm not trying to make the most realistic or the most logical park. I'm just trying to make what I like and what I think looks best at that moment. And maybe in the future I'm like, Diamond, why did you do that? This is so much better. But at the moment, I went for this, and the end result I'm quite happy with. But yeah, you can see me jump around throughout this time lapse quite a lot. I think I recorded this like over a few hours, but like constantly had breaks in between, and like I was looking, okay, is this looking good? Is that looking good? So there might be a few time jumps throughout this time lapse where you're like, wait, I missed this entire waterfall. How did he finish it? Well, I probably did that behind or off screen, since I wasn't really sure with how it was turning out. But we have, I think, done this first part of the waterfall here, which I think looks really, really good. I added like those white decals, like I don't know exactly sure what it is. I think it's moss decals just made white to add sort of like that foam in there. Yeah, in the end, I'm also removing a few of those, since I realized I was also adding way too many of those. But especially when it's sped up, it looks really nice. Yeah, here we have a little bit of a time jump where I just randomly go to the right side of the waterfall. Or the waterfall. Yeah, well, yeah, I'm building a waterfall, and I'm going back to the left. Like, I don't know what I was doing while building this, but I could just not keep my mind on one thing. Now I decided to start painting the terrain, because I was like, let's do that. Let me place more water again, and now I'm going all the way on the right. Like, I don't know what I was doing, but I was going all over the place. But I guess it worked for me. Now we're changing this. Now we're adding a queue to the right. Like, now looking back at this, I did not know what I was doing. I still don't know actually, but in the end, it turned out right. I might have forgotten a few things that I did along the way, but in the end, it's alright. Alright, let's place some more rocks everywhere. And there's a lot of rock options actually for the tiger rocks. In the end, I also think I used some other ones, mainly on the right side. I will be lying if I say it was kinda on accident. I was looking through other rock options. I think I placed one, and on accident I started copying and pasting that one over instead of other ones, and that just resulted in the whole right side being mixed with the other rocks. Which, whoops. By the way, if you question why did I actually place that queue already, I just wanted to see where the people were walking, if they were using everything. In the end, I think I removed it later on. But yeah, I just needed to see, okay, do people actually use these walkways? Am I doing this for nothing? Yeah, so once I actually saw people were using this, I thought, okay, I'm going to add these sort of like plaza areas, which I think in the end turned very, very nice. Once we're actually starting to add some structures around this, since it won't all be just rocks, as I said at the start, it is going to look hopefully a little bit nicer. But yeah, it's just a lot of rocks. It's even like you have to, like, under those rotating pieces, you have to add the rocks, since otherwise it just looks like it's going nowhere. Here I actually copied over, or stole some of the trees from the entrance area, and it just instantly changed the whole view. And I was like, oh wait, this might actually turn out pretty decent. But I first was like, I am not entirely sure. So yeah, once we're just going to add some more, yeah, it's basically the whole time the same. It's just rocks, then nature, then also some water probably, and some trees. In a little bit, we're going to also do some other things. I think I'm not entirely sure anymore, so it was basically yesterday that I recorded this. But it's just a lot of greenery that this area needed. I just wanted a relaxing park in my park. Like basically what Universal said, bringing the park back in the park. That is kinda what my inspiration was for. I think I basically used inspirations from two things. Epic Universe, like the main area, and also actually Disneyland Paris. Like before you actually walk under the hotel, there's like a nice lush area, which looked very nice. But in the background, as you can actually see, there are some structures being placed. And I think I spent like an hour figuring out, okay, what arch pieces do we have? What looks good? In the end, I ended up with these like castle walls, since I just like the arch piece the most. And I think it works. I changed the colors a little bit to match more with the rocks. Is it in line with the rest of the entrance? No, not at all. Do I really care? Also, not at all. I'm just trying to make something that looks nice. Maybe in the end it will all look a little bit strange, since you have like sort of like Mediterranean, Greece, orange area. And then you have a very taiga-ish looking rocks with just Mediterranean trees. It's all over the place, but that's the great thing. When you're dreaming, it's also all over the place. So that's just the excuse I am using for this. But I do have to say, the arches and the bridge pieces did actually like help a ton. In the end, I'm actually adding more, and I think I'm still going to add more actually once I'm just finished with this area, since it just looks really, really nice. Now we're actually working on the right side of the water. We're actually adding a small little waterfall. I thought, we have a lot of these rivers and stuff. Let's also add a little bit of a waterfall. And I think the waterfall actually turned out probably my favorite thing actually inside this little area. Although it did take quite some time to actually get to work, but it turned out good. I think after this we have one more little river left to go. If I'm correct, you maybe didn't see it on the video, but the whole left side is basically finished, apart from some more structures I'm adding. I also really like the rocks I did. You can actually see me sometimes looking at what do I need to do now. But like the sort of like the pointy rocks, I think actually make it look very, very nice and more organic. I'm not really sure. I just saw the rock piece and was like, okay, let's do that. Well, in the midst of doing all those rocks, I was like, okay, I've done now enough rocks for now. Let's add some lanterns, some benches, some trash cans. And that really, like, sort of like made this alive. It was very nice. Actually, also people started to sit on there and walk on some of the other paths they didn't before, which was very nice. And now we are working, I think, on the most right side river, which magically is now also completely there. Wow, the magic of editing, or just not recording for like half an hour. But yeah, it's just I really, really am happy with how this turned out. We have a little bit more of the time lapse. Yeah, it's just, again, more rocks, more green, more trees, and then some structures in between. I actually ended these like sort of like, I don't know, they have like the veranda thing. I'm not sure what it's called, but like the brown bronze things you see. And I added like some nice tables under there to just add like a nice relaxing thing. I actually saw that at the Disneyland Paris parks. We actually sat there and relaxed, and I was like, wait, this is just actually very nice, just outside of the park. Let me just sit here and relax. So I added a few of those, which actually I think ended up quite nice. You also see some random statues, maybe with some clouds. I don't really know why I did that, but I just felt like these walls are way too empty. So we needed something there, and they have some water effects, which I might remove in the future. I don't know. For now, we don't really have any statues that really fit this theme. I did actually add a big globe at the entrance of my park, which I am actually planning to for each area that gets announced or revealed or is finished. I'm not sure exactly when. I will actually add the logo of that onto that sort of world shape that is rotating. It's sort of like, I guess, the Universal shape, but instead of like the name Universal on that or Dreamworld, I will actually add the logos of the areas on that, which I think looks, or I hope it's going to look. I don't know how it's going to look since I haven't built it yet. But yeah, we are slowly getting to the end of the time lapse. There's about a minute left, and it's just, again, adding all of this. I decided to actually add also here. I don't know. Yeah, actually, you can see I now removed all the Q stuff around the thing. And now it's actually time to add the final water effects to this. And I actually started with adding like these waterfall bottoms, basically under every piece that had like the white foam or like the moss decals. since that is of course like sort of like the bubbly effect already. So if you then also add the actual water effects to it, I hoped, and in the end it turned out pretty good. And then I just added like some smaller effects onto like the rocks where it's splashing. So I wanted to do that since of course water goes against rocks, and then there is like water effects coming from those rocks. Otherwise it just looks a little bit weird. I didn't add as nearly as much as I did at the start. And I think what you can say definitely with this, less is more. I had like these foam pieces. I basically only placed it where the water was going very quick, which I guess is after the waterfall. Nowhere else. Just a few of these like little splashes that were going against the rocks. It is pretty much finished. So I am really happy with how this turned out. I will show you guys in a little bit when we're there in real time. So thank you so much, and let's go back to real time. And that brings us here with mainly this area actually being finished. And well, as you can see, it's actually the next day. This has taken a lot of time working out how these waterfalls should go and work. And there's so much rock work around here, and I can still improve this if I want to. But for now, I think the waterfalls themselves are very nice. And well, actually, when we stand here in person, I think this looks amazing. This one is the first one I've made. That one is a little strange sometimes, but some of the other ones, especially more towards here, I think just look really cool. And the water just basically goes everywhere. No, I don't want the end of day report to go away. But we still have this area that needs to be done. And I'm not going to do this whole backside area here, since I am not entirely sure what will be there. I do want to extend this middle area further, but we at least need to make somewhat of a queue and, well, exit for this, right? So for this queue, I want to give this a like nice wavy pattern throughout it. I'm not entirely sure if this is going to look good. And then basically it should go there. Now I don't know if this queue is long enough. I actually might connect it a little further still, like here. And then I think the exit can also fit straight here, right in between the water effects. And I actually think that looks kinda nice. Yeah, no, I think that looks nice. At least now we can open this, right? And hopefully we can have some gas queue for this. Now this edge definitely needs a fence, and I don't know exactly how I'm going to do that, since it's not a perfect circle. Now back here I use these sort of castle pieces, and I don't know if I want to use these again for down here. I guess I'm just going to look through maybe the fence pieces and see if there's anything that looks somewhat nice. I do kinda like these fences. I'm just going to see which ones work. We also have this rock wall, which actually maybe fits nicely in the area, especially if we just scale this bigger. I can cheat a little bit and do that. Yeah, I think this looks pretty nice. Now I just need to add this whole damn fence around here. That's going to take a while. And while I am building this, let me know down in the comments what I should name this ride. It's also not completely themed. I did actually add this thing on top of here, but I might add some more decoration to it. It's basically themed to just the park, like it's just, I don't know, just like the colors of the logo and the other thing. And let me know what I actually should add in this place, since we have a big circle here and this area is again kinda empty. We already have a fountain here, so I don't want to do that again, but I couldn't really find anything that fitted here. So let me know down in the comments, which actually perfectly fits here. Why are they walking over water? Okay. And I hope, and by the looks of things, that actually perfectly fits right in between here. There we go. All right, now we have at least the fence. Oh my god, how many people are this? Also, why are they not walking any further than this? What do you mean? Yeah, it looks like this is a very popular ride. Now in here, there's not much I guess I want to do. I could always add some more water features and like some cool effects. I'm not sure if it's really realistic to have it here, but I really want some I don't know. Lily pads are one of my favorite things to place in this game. They just look so nice and just add so much like color and like variation to the water. Well, I'm back. Rest in peace, my internet. I don't know what I exactly lost, but this is what I did in case you guys didn't see. We need some sort of entrance, and I wouldn't be lying if I say that this kind of fits perfect, doesn't it? Yeah, no, that looks pretty good for an entrance. I think for now, this is probably good enough. I might add some more stuff in the future, or with ideas that you guys have. Now that this area is kind of finished, I think it's time to start working on the first area. And the first area I'm actually planning to build on the right, and where's the plot? Okay, we actually have quite a lot of room. Now, I'm not entirely sure of the location of this entrance, but I think it's going to be somewhere here. And this might be now a very empty big space of road, but I think if I add like some nice planters and other things like we basically did here. So let's say we do that here. Now all of this might still change. I am not exactly sure, but just so we have, I guess, the start of the area. So now we are going to make our first gate. And it is time to then actually tell you what the theme will be of the first area. And it will be Viking themed. And to be more exact, it will be how to train your dragon. So we are basically going to the Viking set. And well, have a look through all the pieces, and there are so many. And I actually found this perfect rock, which I think will work as like the arch. So let's place one here and one on the other side. Now is the question, do we have some sort of arch piece? And I know this might look very strange, but I have something in mind, and I just need to I am building other things before I'm actually building the arch. I need to find something for that. Now I know we have somewhat of these pieces, but I don't know if that looks good. Not really, actually. Maybe this works, but that also looks like a very weird arch, actually. There are actually not too many stone arches. I just need like some stone blocks I can place my own that are basically this, but smaller, but I cannot find them. And it doesn't help that there's like 5,000 items I can choose from. Now, we do have these pieces, but I feel like these are too colorful for what I actually want to do. Okay, I might just have to work with this and rotate this around and see if I can sort of create like a cube with this. Yes, that works. Now is the question, can I rotate this on the correct angle and get these stones in? Okay, I think I finally have it. If I rotate it like that, yeah, no, that fits perfect. Now I just need to do that like 10 million times. I guess I can easily copy it over to the other side. That at least won't be too big of an issue. There we go. Now I know this might look a little bit strange for the arch and different, but there just isn't really any piece I could find. We'll just cover it up as much as we can. Now I just need to make sure this looks somewhat good. And I'm going to be honest, I actually don't know how I want this to look from the other side. Since if I have to guess, this will be some sort of like hallway you go through. I'm going to be honest, I actually didn't plan that far ahead. So let's just make this like 3 times, and then after that you are inside the area. Now I want a big round centerpiece. Where am I going to get that? Very good question. No, I don't think a bear sign is going to do it. Also, now that I see this, actually, doesn't this like perfectly fit? Oh, almost. And of course I cannot scale this any bigger. That is very annoying. For now, I'm just going to place that down, since it does fit perfect as the roof with the angle I actually did. I'm getting sidetracked again. I need something round that's not magical. Now I am thinking of a shield. Doesn't really. I do actually want some shields. Where can we fit shields? On here? Yeah, I guess we can place like some shields here. That also adds some color to this build. There we go. All right. Okay, to be fair, this still looks very strange what I'm doing. Guys, for this one, you really have to trust the process. Wait a second. Can I use... I'm going to use this. Now, it's still a little bit too small for what I had in mind. That works good enough. That's what I've learned so far with this game, is just use pieces how they're not supposed to be used, and you will be okay. So that's exactly what we're going to be doing. Now in here, I would like to have a dragon, like the logo of How to Train Your Dragon. And I think I might have to do that with an image, since I don't think I'm going to be able to get that in game. But if I do, I will do that probably in my own time. And I think I'm actually going to change this up a little bit. I'm going to move the entrance basically onto the path, since I felt like it was just a little bit too far away. I guess for now this works good enough, and I know this doesn't scream How to Train Your Dragon yet. That's indeed a very good question. I agree. But this How to Train Your Dragon area will actually be based off on the first movies. We of course know that Epic Universe built How to Train Your Dragon, but those, if I'm correct, are based on the second, or after the second movies have ended. So I didn't really want to do that. So I thought, well, I don't think there's a world that is based on the first movies. Maybe there's one. So that's why I'm going for the actual like more older Viking style, while the dragons were still the enemies. This is something I will actually figure out for the next episode, since sadly this is all the time I have. I have to get this video out for this Saturday. So, but I still think we did a lot of work. This took a lot longer than I was expecting. So I want to thank you for watching. If you want to see these videos early, you can now become a member. You get tons of different perks like early access to videos, custom emojis, and a lot of different perks just starting from $1.99. So if you want to become a member, you can do so with clicking the button right here. Alright guys, thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to leave a like and subscribe on my channel. And I will say, as always, goodbye.